Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today I've got a review of a knife for you guys that's not just an exclusive version. This is an exclusive model of a Bestech knife that you can only get at Kaviso Outdoors, and this model is none other than the Bestech Bandit. A very interesting little knife here. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length of 6.5 inches with a blade length coming in at 2.875 inches and a blade width of 835 thousandths. Blade thickness on this guy is 118 thousandths, with a blade material of N690, a Tanto style blade, a flat grind with a handle length coming in at 3.75 inches and a handle thickness at 514 thousandths with a handle width of 705 thousandths. Handle material on this guy is, you have some options here. You can get different types of G10, or there is also a micarta variant that we will touch on just a little later. And you have a user of a right hand only tip up carry. As you can see there, it is a nice ultra deep carry clip coming in from the bottom. Always like to see that. That's usually a nice little addition for those that want an extra discreet carry. And we have a weight coming in at 2.6 ounces and a price of a very reasonable 59 bucks. So that $59 price tag, that really does fall right in line with the Kaisers and the Civivis of the world using stuff like N690, 154cm, you know, this, that, and the other. So very reasonable price, no issue there. Let's take a look at some size comparisons. And I only have two knives to compare it with because I can promise you right now, these two knives are going to tell you all you need to know about this. Two budget knives that I think everyone, almost everyone loves. The CJRB Rhea, as well as the Civivi Elementum. So here we have these two knives here, and as you can see, very close to these two knives. Measures up very well, a little more so to the Rhea, and that's mainly just due to the handle width. As you can see here, we'll put them in hand and kind of get them right in front of the camera there. As you can see, in terms of handle width, definitely closer to the Rhea. Blade length is closer to the Rhea. It's a little shorter than the Elementum overall. So it really does stack up, in my opinion, best with that CJRB Rhea. And it kind of feels similar in hand. Where it really gets changed up is with the choil area and how the butt of the handle kind of slims down on the Rhea. But nonetheless, I think those size comparisons there should do it for just about everybody. Now let's get to talking about this knife. I gotta say, you don't hear that much about exclusive models. You hear a lot of versions to where, you know, you have different steel, different handle color, you know, this, that is a little different. But this is a model, and I think that's pretty cool. There's things about it that I may not like in terms of availability, but the nice thing about this is not a sprint run. It's not a limited edition. This is just an exclusive model. So Kaviso is getting good quantities of these in stock. They have plenty in stock, so you don't have to worry about it being hard to find. So that's really my only concern when it comes to an exclusive model. So in terms of that, you know, I'm okay with that. Just make them accessible, make them available, and these very much are. Now going into this blade, this will also, of course, be linked below for purchase. You guys probably put that together by now, but there's a link below that will take you to Kaviso so you can take a look at all the different flavors they have of this knife. The blade. Attractive little Tanto. It's more of that maybe an American style Tanto or a Western style Tanto. There's a lot of different types of Tantos, and I am not exactly a Tanto professional. I know what a Tanto knife looks like, or a Tanto blade, but it's definitely falls under that Western or American style, to where it has a little bit of belly, just a little bit of tip right here. And not having so much tip here is going to make it a little easier to sharpen, depending on your sharpening skills, of course. But with that N690 blade steel, I really like that N690 blade steel on this knife for a couple of reasons. One, this guy here has an edge coming in at 17 thousandths. Very impressive. I was not expecting that. I figured it to be around 20, 21 thousandths, just due to how thick the stock is at 118 thousandths and how narrow the blade is. Normally, a budget knife in this realm won't come down to 17 thousandths. You'd have to be talking like Kaiser, who, you know, as you guys know, I think Kaiser is the best in this area. But a very, very competitive little edge here. Very nice, slicey little edge. And it's going to take a very, very fine, razor-thin edge with that N690 steel. So that is definitely the biggest plus when it comes to N690 is the edge it takes. Boy, you can put a mirror polish on that boy, and it is wicked sharp. Going into the actual cutout on the blade, the cutout is more than just aesthetic. It can be middle finger flicked. It's not the easiest to do. We'll touch more on that when we get to the action. But I just like the overall aesthetic of this blade. It has that Tonto vibe without that super pointy Tonto tip there. I think it'll just be a really nice little useful blade and a tip that is meant for some decent work. Not dainty by any means. This is going to be a great little EDC knife for someone that wants to, you know, an affordable knife that really wants to beat on the blade. You can do that without having to worry too much about snapping that tip or doing anything to break the blade. So that's always nice to see. I would like to see a little jimping back here. You guys know that. I think anytime a knife doesn't have jimping on the spine, I probably want to see a little of it. But at the end of the day, as compact as this guy is, and as well as it lets you get a nice solid purchase on it, I'd still like to see some, but not having jimping on this particular knife isn't the end of the world. But, you know, if I had my choice, there'd be a little jimping there. All in all, though, a very nice compact little blade. I really like how this choil works here. Kind of reminds me of the Elementum. We'll pull that Elementum back in here real quick. It gives you that same grip there. And it really does feel somewhat similar to the Elementum. It just doesn't quite have the width. Definitely has the thickness, doesn't have the width of the handle, but it still feels good. It gives you a very nice control of the blade, and it feels pretty good in hand. It's not like a, you know, Spyderco Shaman or something crazy good in hand like that. But for what it is, the ergos on this guy are pretty solid, but they're solid in their own unique way. And this is what really makes this model different from, I think, any knife I've ever reviewed. And I truly mean that, because what you have here on the show side, are you noticing something you probably have already by now? The show side scale is more narrow than the clip side scale. Now, at first, I'll be honest, I thought that was a little goofy. I thought, okay. Yeah, this is weird. You guys know me and how, like, a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, that's an immediate, he's not gonna like that. You know, I wasn't crazy about it until I really started to carry this knife. I carried it for a couple days, ran it through its paces, and it really does help the ergos on here because it does two major things. It makes for very comfy ergos with that show side scale being more narrow. You know, naturally, when you go to grip a knife like this, you know, if this show side scale was the same width, you would feel the end of the scale in your fingers as you wrap around more. But since it's kind of dialed back, it gives your hands a little more of an easier feel in hand when you're wrapping your fingers around. You don't have that corner of the scale pushing out quite as much. So it does help with ergos in that sense. And then also it provides for excellent liner lock access. Now, you guys know by now, liner lock access is huge for me. It's something you use so much on a knife. It has to be good. If it's not good, it's a knife that's not going to stick around in my collection. I'm not going to carry it very often. But the nice thing about the show side scale being more narrow is you can break the liner lock right here and it comes down, or you can break it all the way down here and it comes down. And you see how smooth that went down? Yeah. But no, it makes it very easy to close this knife. All the way from the top to, I think you can even go down here Yeah, look at that. And you can break the lock. So if you're really working on something and you're busy and you just have one hand and you can't pay much attention, you put your finger pretty much anywhere on the top half of the liner lock, and it's closing for you. You shake it shut and you're good to go. I really, really like that. And in terms of the aesthetics, it doesn't throw the aesthetics off nearly as much as I thought it would. It has nice lines to where it's almost kind of hidden. You see it, but it's not so glaring and not so obvious. So very little unique aspect to this knife, and something that I've really come to appreciate about it. Now in this G10 model, you have contouring. You get a little contouring and smoothness and texturing, so you have a really nice grip on here. It is worth noting that with the micarta version, let me close this guy up here for a second, you don't have any real contouring. The edges of the scales are chamfered, but it's not really contoured. It's more of just flat scales. And that's not the end of the world. Some people would prefer contoured. Some people don't care, especially with a knife of this size. It's not necessarily the end of the world, but it's worth noting. A little more contouring on the G10 than the micarta. But the micarta, I believe they have 3 different types. They have black micarta, they have the natural brownish micarta, and then I believe they have a green micarta. But you'll have to click that link below, go check out, see exactly what flavors they have. But they have a lot of options. So very, very nice selection to choose from. Going into the pocket clip back here, I like everything about this pocket clip other than the fact that it is full satin. I wish it was stonewashed like the blade. Again, that's something you hear from me a lot, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse there. But you see that with a lot of manufacturers. I wish they'd take that extra little step and just stonewash that clip. That would be nice. But the overall clip in general is great. No hot spots, ultra deep carry, and it looks good. It looks good with the knife. That's a big part for me, because especially now there's so many budget knives, all at reasonable prices. You know, if you really want something that you're spending your hard-earned money on, you want every aspect of the knife to be enjoyable. So the clip is a big part of it, and I do like this clip. In terms of design, ergo's functioning. No issues, zero hotspot, literally zero hotspot with that. And I was surprised. I thought I would even feel that a little more in hand, but I don't feel it at all. So like this clip a whole lot. Action. Let's get into the action. This guy has a very, very nice flipping action. You can pop it right out. You can light switch this guy very easily and it comes out just fine, but you guys know me, that push button, a good push button flipper, I like it a lot, a whole lot. It's really good. It really is. It's fidgety, it's clicky. You hear that click? It's really good. It just flies out too. Very, very smooth action. This is out of the box action, guys. See, I think it's no surprise though. Bestech is up there. Bestech is right up there with Kaiser and Civivi. I wouldn't put them ahead of Kaiser, but there are some Bestech knives that I like more than Civivi's, but they're right up there in the top 3 or 4 budget manufacturers. Their designs are a little more hit and miss with me. This one just happens to be a very big hit. In terms of the cutout on the blade, so here we go. Now keep in mind, I have this bad habit of clipping my fingernails down to the bone when they get too long. So let's see if I can do it. There, okay. So, and that was really without my fingernail in the cutout, and that was right under this camera. So I'll take that all day, every day. It can be done. It would be a heck of a lot easier if I wasn't under the camera and if I had average size fingernails or average length fingernails. But yeah, you saw it can be done. So I did it the one time. I think that was maybe beginner's luck because I really did just murder my fingernails last night. I want to do it one more time though. Now I'm stubborn. Okay, there we go. There we go, but it works. No, so nonetheless, the action is very good, and if you have a little normal, if you have skinny fingers, it's probably gonna be very easy to middle finger flick this, but as you saw, it can be middle finger flicked, but in all honesty, I enjoy this flipper so much, I probably wouldn't be middle finger flicking this that much. This is just a really, really good, snappy flipping action, and again, I'm closing it with my hand, but you can easily shake it shut. And in all honesty, one shake is really all you need. Pop it out, break the lock, closed. So very, very smooth action. For a budget knife, it's about as good as you can get in terms of action. we've come to a point in folding knives that the premier budget manufacturers are all very comparable in action. This one does happen to be, I think, a little smoother on the close than some others. Just, yeah, it's good. It's good. Overall, guys, this is a very nice little exclusive model. If you're looking for something in that Elementum range, in that Rhea range, but you don't want a Rhea or an Elementum, this is definitely a great option to take a look at. They're readily in stock, easily available, N690 steel, good ergos, fantastic action, and a good brand all in all in Bestech. So you're really hitting something here, and you're getting a unique model. There's probably not a lot of people that have this since it's just coming from Kaviso Outdoors. So there's a lot of things to like about this at a very affordable price. So that there is the Bestech Bandit, guys. Oh, and you know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to throw this one right here in my 10,000 subscriber giveaway. That's coming up within the next week and a half. I actually had another company that I work with say, hey, congrats on hitting 10K. I want to send a knife for you guys to give out. So I've got a couple more things coming in. So fear not, that is coming. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. So this is being added to the giveaway, the Kaviso Outdoor exclusive Bestech Bandit. Guys, let me know what you think of this model. Hop on that link below. Check this out and keep your eyes peeled. That giveaway is coming. I promise you that, and it's going to be a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.